Hello, residents of the universe. Welcome to Ways to Human. My name is AJ. Based on the type of videos that I make, you may be wondering, have I ever been religious? And if so, how did I lose my religion? I was raised in an atheist home. I did have access to several holy books, the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran. As a baby, I was baptized in the Catholic Church at the request of my biological father. I did not lack access to religion. I had the liberty to make my own choices. In 2010, as a 24-year-old adult, I found myself in a vulnerable situation during my pregnancy with my first child. A wonderful moment overshadowed by the devastating news that my baby had severe birth defects. Encouraged by family, I turned to a Christian church seeking comfort. I attended multiple services and I encountered a profound sense of compassion, similar to experiencing kindness and love. One day during one service, I was invited onto the stage for a faith healing. Filled with hope and genuine faith, at that moment I felt wrapped in warmth, had a peaceful sensation that washed over me. But it ultimately failed to alter the harsh reality of my baby's diagnosis or even my own health challenges. We both continue to have health issues that limit our quality of life. My child has had several open heart surgeries and excruciatingly painful procedures. With time and education, acquiring knowledge about brain function and human anatomy, I have come to understand that my experiences in church were simply a cascade of hormones and neurotransmitters like oxytocin and dopamine, inducing a physiological response, such as increased blood flow, that causes the warmth sensation. This experience had nothing to do with a divine intervention. During the time that my husband and I attended church, like many Christians, I was encouraged to only read the New Testament and usually guided to specific verses with the pastor's interpretation. At first, the concept sounded noble, kind, and selfless, but it laid the foundation for the guilt trip of a lifetime. Suddenly, I owed my life to someone that I had never met, and yet somehow I was supposed to value him more than my own life. God owning me for all of eternity didn't really provide any consolation. I was pregnant, so I wondered if I could consider owning the child that I was going to be giving birth to for their entire life. And the answer was a clear and resounding no. I don't own my child, and my child does not owe me anything simply because I gave them life. The reminder that Jesus died for me only caused more distress. I never entered into a covenant with God, yet I found myself coerced into this obligation. I hadn't asked Jesus or God to sacrifice a life or perform a divine intervention for me. This eternal debt was forcibly imposed upon me. But what was the alternative? Love and accept Jesus without my consent, or burn in hell forever? Forever. This was not a mutual loving relationship. It was a one-sided. There was no free will. It's either forced love and devotion or eternal torture. Your choice? The concept of being given a limited time on earth to demonstrate my devotion to a higher power was a struggle for me to comprehend. This temporary life on a physical body is uncomfortable. There are predators, poisonous air. Their source of light is literally a cancer-causing deadly laser, and I have to watch the people I love die one by one. It's a surreal experience, standing on this rocky sphere that's floating in space, rotating on its axis and zooming to the cosmos. But this was the best method that God could come up with to convince me that He was going to give me an extraordinary afterlife. I found no evidence to support the notion of a blissful eternity awaiting beyond this existence. God chose to give me a blind and deaf body, that suffers from a debilitating chronic pain and doesn't produce two vital hormones, insulin and cortisol. So if I don't take these medications several times a day, I will die. I would have settled for a limited life in a healthy body in which I could live near my family. Instead, in the past 16 years, I can count on one hand the times that I have been able to see my parents. These limitations and separations highlighted the inadequacy of the promises of a heavenly paradise for me. I wondered, after being told God is omniscient and has a plan for each one of us from before we're born, whether He knew that I would be an atheist. Did He create me with the purpose of going to hell? And according to the Bible, repenting and becoming a believer after sinning can still get you into heaven. So a child rapist who repents at the end of their life can get through the gates of heaven. This made no sense to me. I didn't want to worship this kind of God. Instead of devoting my time and energy worshiping a deity, I embraced a path grounded in compassion and kindness towards fellow humans, not out of obligation or to get through heaven's gates, but because it felt inherently right. Rather than waiting for a hypothetical eternity, I chose to cherish the time I have with my loved ones in this lifetime, in this earth, valuing every irreplaceable moment. But these were some of my personal reasons for losing my religion. The teachings of Christianity and the Bible itself provided other reasons that led me away from faith. Stay tuned for part 2 of Losing My Religion. It's more of an activity video in which I will ask tough questions about belief and faith in hopes that you will answer them yourself to help you understand why you hold on to the beliefs that you hold on to. Thank you for listening to my story. Please share yours in the comments or on the Ways to Human Facebook page. Don't forget to like and subscribe.